I guess it was a pretty decent race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was.
When the 7 car turned over, now that was
something else.
That was
he
strange.
slid all the way down the straightaway on his top. Now how it got on the top, I don't know. I mean, it just flipped right quick.
Late in the race, when the 45 pretty well had it sewed up, and the 19 kind of
just scraped the wall. I mean.
But you know, Richard, is coming down. There's 2 more races that are really hard to win and unpredictable, which is Daytona and Darlington.
Yeah, Daytona especially.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, it was a little bit wet Sunday up there, wasn't it?
Off and on it was wet, Richard, but they finally had to call the thing.
So they got 100 miles in. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we come home.
And then we come home and got up and watched
rest of the 300-mile race.
Yep. 100. Yeah. Okay. That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it I guess it was a pretty decent race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, they raced some.
No, they to begin with, man, they was racing like it was last lap.
Yeah, I know.
Which is good, you know what I mean?
But they was.
No, it was a good race for Michigan racetrack. A lot of times it's follow the leader.
Yeah.
But this time they was running all over the racetrack. Most of the time they running low or high, you know.
They've been doing that, but it's still yet. Well, the cream finally come to the top, if you want to say that, you know, and everything. But
well, the 45 really wasn't the fastest car. Okay, he could keep up with them, but
yeah,
there was a couple, 3 others. There was 3 or 4 pretty good cars that got out front to begin with, but the 5 car faded. I don't know what happened to him.
He wrecked the 5 car.
You know, he did
on that restart. Yeah, he just flat lost it, and that's when they had the big wreck. After, yeah, the 5 car.
Then later on in the race, or somewhere, they had a caution, and 3 cars fell out at the same time. Had a couple of them had flat tires.
That was after a caution, and everybody. I bet you money every one of them had low air pressure.
Well, that's what they kept talking about.
And you know, it's like, well, they might have run over something, but it happened in different places on the racetrack.
But the big deal, it happened at the same time on the same
lap. Yeah, it did. You know, it was that
was kind of odd.
It was a 16, 22, and one other, and I forget. But I thought it was a decent race. There was some when the 7 car turned over. Now that was
something else.
That was
he slid all the way down the straightaway on his top. Now how it got on the top, I don't know. I mean, it just flipped right quick.
Yeah, he did.
They don't usually do that.
But it flipped the wrong way too.
Yeah, flipped to the inside instead of the outside.
Exactly, and that's so unusual. You know, something had to get him airborne for the air to get under the car. And then it becomes kind of an airplane.
Well, you know, the way he come off of the car, that he was, I don't know if he hit him or got real close. He turned left, and I guess the air off of the car that was in front of him got under his car. Most of the time, they're far enough back that it gets on the side and then gets on the top.
But, you know, something had to launch it, and I just wonder if his rim could have got on top of the 10 car rims. You know, it's just speculation.
I don't think he touched. I don't think he touched the car.
Yeah, I believe he did. They showed some replays, and I believe he touched him, but not enough to mess the 10 car. But it got him airborne.
The car that was in front didn't wiggle at all.
No, not hardly.
So if he hit him, he didn't hit him hard.
But then
that hit that grass. Man, that thing took off, man.
Yeah. And you know, when Denny spun, now that was unusual for.
He spun and stopped, didn't it? He got down the infield.
Yeah, but he went out through that grass and everything.
But when he was coming up on, I don't know who was leading at the time. He come up on him so dadgum fast, and when he turned that thing, it didn't turn.
But that's unusual for a driver like him.
To make that kind of mistake.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a driver, but that was kind of a mistake on his part. Yeah. But you know, he got back and had a decent finish, and I guess
7th or something?
I guess 9th here according to the sheet, and I'm sure it's right.
But see, the 23 run pretty good, and then he had some kind of trouble.
Yeah, he was in that big wreck when the 5 car.
Okay, you're right.
When the
you're
5,
right. Messed up his front end or something.
Yeah. And it took a lot of the pretty good cars out, but I guess it's another one of them things running along there when the late in the race, when the 45 pretty well had it sewed up and the 19 kind of
just scraped the wall. I mean, where was a couple of races ago, somebody spun out with a couple laps ago, hit the wall on the inside, and they didn't even throw the caution. So then they come back and he just scrapes the wall.
And,
you know what I mean? And they kept going.
I know. I just wonder if they hadn't have thrown the caution. Of course, everybody pitted in. Most of them did. And
well, the 45 was going to win the race anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of glad he won the race.
Under the
circumstances,
I was afraid it's going to be one of those deals like at Richmond, where the best car wasn't going to win if it wasn't careful.
Yeah, and that's true too. But it didn't change the win any on that particular caution, but it changed several positions
back in the back where some of them stopped.
It mixed it up.
Yeah, and then they had the last caution probably. That changed some stuff too. Okay, when just a 2-lap race, there was some of them guys that got by some people that shouldn't have got by, but they got by them on a restart.
They. But Richard, is coming down. There's 2 more races that are really hard to win and unpredictable, which is Daytona and Darlington.
Yeah,
and
Daytona especially.
Yeah.
Okay.
If a different winner showed up, it would really mix things up.
Yeah, because there's 2 or 3 of them back there that's trying to get in on points, and the points are really close. So 1 or 2 positions are finishing in one of the segments better than the other car. You don't have to finish in front of him, but if you got a segment and got up some points in the segment. Might make a lot of difference. So them guys are going to be racing hard to win, get some points for the segment deal.
That's what they're trying to, But the 23 and the 1 are really fighting for the position if they don't win a race to get in. But I'm repeating myself. But that 54's been knocking on the door too.
He's right there every time.
And Darlington's an awful good race for Erik, if they can get him
halfway close
or something, and he runs good at Daytona too.
Up there, the first 100 miles on Sunday, he started way back there in the back and wound up. He worked his way up to 15th or 16th, passing those cars. So I thought it was going to be in pretty good shape. The car was probably 25 or 31 slow, just enough that he couldn't really get there, and then. I guess as the race progressed, their strategy was good for a while, but then when they had some of them cautions and some of the other deals, their strategies kind of went out the window.
Well, they went with 2 tires one time, which really helped him, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Their strategy was good.
Then when they had to put 4 on it, and it kind of caught up with them. But that's kind of the best the car's run lately.
I was pretty happy with the way.
And I think
not with the finish, but the way the car ran.
Yeah, but the 42 car had gotten a fence
early.
Sunday.
Okay, he was messed up.
He was already hurt Sunday, and they didn't think it was that bad, but he couldn't run much. But there was another thing, if you remember how bad that 4 car was to start with.
Yeah, they lapped him.
They lapped him and nothing, and they said he was just so loose he couldn't drive it, and they got him adjusted up where he could about halfway race. He didn't have a good, very good finish and everything, but it's certainly a different world out there right now from what we've seen a few years back. Talking about your days.
The strategies and stuff of how you 2 tires, 4 tires, whether you stop or whether you don't stop or when you stop. It just changes the whole complexion. But like you say, the best cars really wound up at the front of the race, which was the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now, when you get back there 7th or 8th, some of those are kind of, maybe they wasn't supposed to be there, but they got there,
Yeah. Okay, we're going to Daytona Saturday night.
Daytona Saturday night.
Yeah, and I'd like to have $1 every time they say save fuel. So that's the way it's been.
Well, the drafting deal is easier to save fuel.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. We went up there on Sunday, done the hat deal, and then went to Erik's foundation, and he had a bunch of his foundation people there, and we went over and talked to them for a little while. And Erik kind of helped design the hat, so he had his dog on there and all, the whole deal. So that was really one reason why we went up there on Sunday, knowing probably that it was going to rain. But me and Dale said, well, we need to go up there, try to help Erik out a little bit. So that's the reason we went on Sunday.
Yeah, I thought it was a good deal. And then, of course, his foundation and everything. And it was questionable, like Richard said about the weather. We always noted it was going to be questionable, but they had a plane coming on Sunday night, and that helped.
Winning races, I guess. You know, I think I won my 100th race at Bowman Gray. So it's always, that's a high spot, winning 100 races. And but we done that in 1969. And we used to run up there on Easter Monday.
Yeah, I believe it was
Easter. They run Easter Monday. Of course, we run all kinds of times up there. I think we ran in the winter up there one time. So they used to run at least 2 races at Bowman Gray, cup races, and there was some right smart of excitement at Bowman Gray. You get these great big old cars on that little bitty track, and this is going to be interesting to watch these cars, see how they do there.
To me, what's going to be interesting is getting all that equipment in that it takes now to run a race up there with as tight as everything is. But like Richard says, me and him and Maurice was Lee's pit crew a lot of time when we was up there, and we wasn't old enough to be in the pits at that point in time. But, yeah, Bowman Gray goes back forever, and I guess it's still going strong. It will be interesting.
According to where he's at. Talladega, probably 220 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Because he's running. So it's each racetrack. In fact, even at Michigan this past week, they was running over 200 mile an hour, 202, 203 mile an hour at the end of the straightaway. So, according to what track it is and, how much straightaway there is there.
Yeah, I thought they was running awful fast at Michigan this week with no more rear spoiler than they had with this package. And, of course, we're going to Daytona this week, and they won't run fast kind of at all until they get in a big pack because they got so much spoiler and drag and horsepower wise that they won't get fast till they get bunched up, and then they'll be calm for a while, then it'll get hairy at the end of the race.